Welcome back to the dopest show you won't get sick of. I'm Spencer. This is Sasha. Spent most of my 20s in federal prison, but I've been off heroin since April 9, 2010. Got a lot of stories about the dumb stuff I did to get put in prison. I've also got a lot of stories about the crazy stuff that happened when I was actually in prison. And God forbid you end up in prison. You want to make some of the same mistakes I made. Been having a coughing fit. I apologize. Getting my bearings about me. I had an insomnia night last night. I laid down at 9 p.m. to wake up at 8 a.m., lay in bed 11 hours, only get 6 to 7 hours of sleep. I wake up 4 to 10 times in the middle of the night, and that's with multiple medications. Last night, we might have ghosts, okay? That's something I don't talk about, but this freaked me all the way out, and I got to tell this before I tell my story that I'm going to tell today. Woke up, usually wake up, first time I wake up is midnight, then I wake up again, 1:30, then about 3 or 4, I'm wide awake. And I couldn't fall back to sleep, so I decided to sit up for a little bit, take a quarter of a gabapentin. I don't take them during the day. It makes me stupid. It makes my reaction time low. And a little tiny piece of a Seroquel. I take Seroquel, gabapentin, prazosin, which is for PTSD dreams, and melatonin. All at night. I don't take meds during the day, but they kind of have a minor background noise during the day that helps me out. But anyway, and I still wake up 4 to 8 times a night. Without that, I don't sleep at all. Woke up, was sitting on the couch. We have a gallon jug full of change. Case puts all the change in there. Sitting in a vase. I hear this, explosion type thing. There'd been a critter in the fireplace. Thought it was like a raccoon or something, so I hear that noise. Like, oh no, we got a raccoon. Sasha, worried about her because then, it might have rabies and she has to get shots, all that. You get bit with the rabies raccoon, they give you them shots in the belly that my dad told me about. That they're like Wu-Tang Clan too. They ain't nothing to mess with. So, ghost, that's how I treat them. Wu-Tang Clan. Ain't nothing to mess with. But I don't even believe in that stuff. It just freaked me out. I was sitting there at 3, 4 a.m. and there wasn't nothing coming out of the chimney. And I look over to the left. This glass pickle jar with change in it, it's just shattered. Out of nowhere. Ain't nothing hit it. Ain't nothing near it to hit it. It's sitting in a vase. Wow. I mean, that's some weird stuff, man. That freaked me. Nah. But this house was owned by one family, and it sounds like there was a drunk that lived in here. When we bought the house, this creepy old man with a cane, old as can be, seemed like somebody out of a Stephen King movie. Asked if he could walk around the house because he grew up in it. Yeah, why not? I'm a nice guy. A lot of people tell him, get effed, and I found out, he was somebody he's looking to scavenge is what it sounded like from what people told me. But, I thought it was just for sentimental value, so I let him walk around in here. And sure enough, as soon as he got in here, well, that piano's supposed to go to Miss So-and-so. And I'm like, man, we got the house, the piano's in it. You want to take a look around, or you trying to find some stuff you can take? But anyway, he tells me the history of stuff. Who lived where, what. And we got 2 staircases in this house. It's an unusual setup. It's really cool, actually. So, his dad was a drunk. Died of alcoholism. Sounds like he died when he was in this house. Maybe he's a night drunk. Maybe he drank during 9 p.m. to 8 a.m., which time I'm usually asleep. Maybe because I was up. Maybe he's drinking his ghost beer off in the corner. But that glass pickle jar shattered, and the change fell all over the floor. It made no sense. I'm going to take a picture of it. I don't mess with this stuff, okay? Leave it alone, it leaves you alone, okay? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's just some freak stuff, but I don't know how it busted. I have no clue. There's nothing that could have fallen on it. And it just busted from the bottom out. I mean, nothing has been touched. Nothing's been swept. It's over by the TV, the entertainment center. There's nothing that could have touched it. I thought it was a raccoon coming out of the chimney because chimney's got, the thing shut, and we kept hearing something trying to get out. I was like, oh, Lord. So I thought I'm going to have to do that. But anyway, a little freaked out right now. Ain't slept since. Believe that. Nah, not going, no. All lights are getting turned on. Nah, forget that sitting in the dark stuff. Nope. Nope. But anyway, I'm running on a little bit of fumes because of that. It's my daughter's birthday. She's actually saying that I'd be like the dad she never had. It's my stepdaughter. Love her as my, but I'm not trying to force it. But, Casey, my fiance, said she's going to want to ride with her cousin because her sister just moved back. And I was like, hey, she might want to ride with us. And sure enough, she said she's going to want to ride with us. She'll be here in a minute. We're going to this trampoline park. It's going to be all kinds of fun. See if she can tell me how I'm old and boring on the way. I don't care. If she chose to ride with me, then she just likes arguing with me. Now, I ain't going to let her get by with it. She called me a racist the other day because I called Koreans Asian. And I was like, they're Asian. She likes that BTS, that weird band, odd looking people. Like, they look like aliens. I don't know if you've seen those Koreans. They're a different type. They look like they could be extraterrestrials, those people. But anyway, I'm running on fumes. A little freaked out. A lot freaked out. Anyway, so this story. Chomo turning out a CO. Yes, you heard that correct. Petersburg has a warped, messed up culture where they cater to chomos, and I've said this constantly, okay? So the person in question is a smut peddler. So a lot of people are in there because they like looking at stuff on the internet. Girls too young, stuff they shouldn't be looking at. And this guy was the dirty magazine guy, the dirty pictures guy. He had literally totes of it under his bed. And anything they took, he filed paperwork to get every bit back he could. But see, at Petersburg, they have a printing press. If you have a calendar on your wall, chances are it came from Unicor at Petersburg Low. They print tens of thousands of calendars at Petersburg Low, I believe, every month. Okay? Pay them $1 an hour, $2 if they've been working for a year or so. So slave labor, but it's better than any other inmate job, so nobody complains. But a private corporation is profiting off of slave wage labor. So the calendars that you possibly have on your wall was profited off the back of, an inmate at Petersburg Low. Just something I figured I'd add in there. And of course, they'd be pissed if they took Unicor away. They wouldn't be making as much money. And one buddy who was in there, he made $900 in a month, but he had to work 4 60-hour weeks. That's slave driving making him work that much, but he's wanting to send it home to his wife. First time he healed his kid was the day he got sentenced to 20-year mandatory minimum sentence for a half pound of speed. They enhanced him because he wouldn't tell on somebody. He got clemency. They reduced it to 13. I believe he's out now. It's pitiful, though. It really, messed him up. But anyway, this guy, the smut peddler, the printing press, they have old dirty magazines. That's not allowed in the feds. You get caught with that, you're going to get your phone, commissary, computer. You're getting something taken for a month, 2 months, 3 months. So they're old magazines all the way back from the 90s, whenever they outlawed it. And they take it to the printing press. And it's an incredible printing press, so they make color copies of these dirty magazines. They're never going to get rid of the dirty magazines at Petersburg. It's impossible as long as the printing press exists. And even then, when I was there in maintenance, my buddy Jamie, they found this hidden bathroom in maintenance, and under the sink, it had a stack of Playboy, which Playboy isn't the premier dirty magazine. People in there wanting a little bit more hardcore stuff than that with these magazines. And this guy'd sit out there at rec. As soon as you walk out the rec, it's low security, at the picnic tables. Have dirty magazines spread out. Binders and binders of pictures, which people trade like trading cards. The chomos, like ones of adult stars that have braces and underdeveloped, sick. But, a lot of people went to this guy to get their dirty magazines. I ain't gonna lie, I bought one off of him. I didn't know he was a chomo at the time, He didn't seem like one. He seemed like a hustler. He seemed like a Latin king. He looked like one. And, I'm a straight dude. I'm going to call it like it is. I didn't have an outlet. So my buddy Jamie Jones, he had this thing on his bed that he had set up so it hid in between these two sheets that looked like it was just draping to keep the light out. And we kept them in there. I said, listen, I'll buy them. You hold them. That way, I wasn't going to get found in my room, risk me getting in trouble for it. So he held the magazines. I bought the magazines. And we had about 5 or 6 magazines. Yeah, 5 or 6 magazines. I'm a straight dude who was 23 when I went to prison. Do you know what that's like? Gee, oh, Lord. It's not a fun situation, okay? So that's what, completely straight dudes did, okay? So, but anyway, he was the peddler of that. And there were a few peddlers. They all were, had like issues with each other and talked bad about each other. This guy who looks like a Latin king, he's bald headed, he kind of looks like, could be Fat Joe's cousin or something. Okay, he's not big and muscly, but he looks like he'd be a Latin king. Overweight, and he talks like it. He's from California apparently, and apparently he was an LAPD officer who got in trouble for chomo type stuff and sent out there. So there's a guard in Richmond Hall. Richmond Hall is 3 floors in a basement. It's like a fortress. There's all kinds of twists and turns. It's not an open pod. You could scream in this one place called the dungeon. They couldn't hear you halfway across the building, much less in the guard station. Okay, you scream in the hallway downstairs, and they couldn't hear it in the stairway on the 3rd floor. I mean, it's that big of a place. So it's so big they have to have 2 guards working it, one on the 1st floor and one on the 3rd floor. So there's this woman guard, and I think at night they might have just had 1 guard working since most people are asleep. There's a woman guard working. She's got an office. It's not, buddy, you gotta scoot, little guy. You gotta scoot. I got a party to go to, so you gotta be good. But anyway, it's a big office. It's not typical. Typical, it's like the size of a broom closet. And they do have an air conditioner in there. The low doesn't have air conditioning, so they get to sit in the nice cool. They don't do a lot of searching on the 100-degree days. But anyway, it's a big office. It's probably, you go in there to get your mail when they pass it out. They have you come to the door. It's probably like, 20 by 30 foot. It's a big area. Probably meant to house inmates. And that's where her office was at. And you see her hanging around this fat Joe. Look like now she's an overweight white woman that's not that good looking. Probably a 3 or 4 on a 1 to 10. Low self-esteem. But in prison, my cousin Stephanie, she's a pretty girl. I'm not saying my cousin Stephanie is a bad looking girl. But anyway, Stephanie said, if a woman has low self-confidence, go work in a prison. Oh man, they make me feel great. And I got some funny stories about her with that too, but that was something funny that she mentioned. So, yeah, certain people look at me, you'd be surprised. The gunners, what they gunning to too. But anyway, you see them around each other a lot. And this woman starts repossessing people's dirty mag because you're not allowed to have it and writing shots. But then, these like certain pictures that there aren't many of, the Fat Joe look-alike Latin King looking dude. He's not a Latin King though. No affiliation. He's a chomo. But he looks like it, so that's why a lot of people messed with him for real. Like he seemed, he seemed like he could be one. He wasn't though. It took me a while to learn that. But anyway, he would end up with the stuff that she'd repoed from the other picture men. She was taking it from them and giving it to him. Yeah. And then there was rumors, everything else, but she kept giving him all this stuff. Well, of course they're going to tell on her. They're the dirty magazine, the dirty picture guy. That stuff is better than like the air they breathe. I got me 6 dirty magazines, with the adult stars in it and everything. That's all I needed. That's enough variety, There was one. What was there was Scarlet. That was for like every other Monday. There's one that was something like Cherry. She was like every other Friday. Straight dude is what it is. Anyway, they kept spending time, and at night at Petersburg they never lock you down. You're never locked in your cell. You just have to go stand in your cell cubicle. There's cells in Richmond Hall. Had the old bars. It was an old military prison built in the 1930s. Actually, really neat architecture. But anyway, her office has a complete door. You cannot see in it. There's no window. They were spending time in there. And ultimately, the guys who she's still in the picture from tell on them. And they come raid the office, and they've got like 2 inmate mats in the guard's office. What you got a bed for in your office? 2 beds, so it's extra comfortable. They were both big. They probably had a combined weight of about, something like 450. So, one of those skinny mats wasn't going to be good enough, if they're thumping on that. But this woman has done compromised herself for a guy who's in for looking at that type of stuff on the internet. Chomo stuff. Been sent all the way to Petersburg. So then they wouldn't take his life in California. And this guard's made a relationship with him. She's become in a relationship with him to where they're always together smiling, hee hee ha ha, and all that. How do you compromise your morals so low, man? I mean, and even with the people, live your life and whatever. If you ain't straight, if you, mess around through. How did these gangsters that messed around dudes behind the scenes, how'd they mess with Chomo? I imagine that, like I said, dirty magazines for me. But let's say I was that way. I can't imagine that I'd be shacking up with sex offenders as a gay person. I mean, that makes no sense. And there were gangsters, everybody else and stuff like that. But for a guard, he's shacking up with the chomo. Okay? She gets to leave every day. And this guy is not Don Juan. He's not somebody. He's a fat slob. I mean, big old belly. It's mental manipulation. These people manipulate everything else. And they come in there, raid that, take that out. And you don't see her working the building anymore at all. And then they end up, the SIS messed with me bad. I counted it. I got drug tested 30, I think it was 36 times in something like a 3.5 year period. They would hit me like sometimes like 2 times within 3 days, like trying to. I'm like, you're not gonna get me. The worst thing I ever did was, there at the end. We'll admit, I took a little Wellbutrin, my own prescription, but didn't use it great way to lift weights. It's not good. Do not advocate that, but just being honest. There was nothing to find in my urine, but because I told the SIS lieutenant who was threatening to put me in jail, call me a white boy, all this stuff, everything else, and I hurt his feelings, he was trying to get me. He tried to send me to Beaumont, Texas. They sent me to a medium when I had camp points, which is absurd. But he hated me, and he was always doing that. They drug test you in the visitation room. So they call you, you go up to the visitation room. She's working in the visitation room. So the people, every 10 minutes on the hour, they do 10-minute move, 10-minute move. The compound's open for a 10-minute move. Then compound's closed, 10-minute move over. She was working the visitation room doing the announcements. They got her off the compound of the building, and she just looked sick. You know how many people look like just they're stressed about life? Yeah, that's how she looked. And I was sitting there thinking, oh, yeah, you should feel that way. Taking dirty pictures from one weirdo and giving it to the king weirdo. Ought to be ashamed of yourself. Checking up with a chomo. I don't care, what emotional, there's no excuse for that. No excuse for that. I hate people that mess with kids. That assault women, any of that type stuff. Which, by the way, there's a dude, I'm going to say his full name, Sam Dye. He's from the Grundy area. That's Casey's, the guy who tricked her into marrying her when she was 16. She thought he loved her. He got her to marry him so then she wouldn't have to testify against him. He's in his 20s. He's a chomo too. And he broke her nose 3 times, everything else. I'm looking for you, Sam. I'm going to find you. So we can have a little competition. I'm not going to come find you. If I was the old me, it'd be different. But I'm going to bother you. I'm going to call you every type of chomo, woman beating, every type of this and that, until you're ready to fight me. You with me? I'll give you $2,000. If I whoop you, you don't got to give me nothing. Just look forward to it. It's been a long time you've been avoiding me. I'll come in at 160 pounds, the day before. I can do that. I'd even come in at 165 the night of. You can weigh. I know. I seen your big old waterhead. You look like you weigh probably about 215, 220. Just give you some confidence. But I'm gonna keep mentioning you. I know people from the area watching. So anyway, that woman stayed up there at the visitation room. They kept her up there, moved her back and forth. She ended up working different places like the compound stuff. Not back in the building though. You didn't see that. Yeah. So it's some sick stuff. I said I'm running on fumes, guys. I had a change jar explode, a glass jar explode, and change fall. I don't understand. If I could explain like what made it happen, like pressure and this and that, but this is just a glass jar that we've been storing stuff in for years. There was no crack in it, and just randomly at like 4 a.m. boom, change falls out of it. It's change is still falling out the sides of that vase thing. I'm gonna take a picture of it and show y'all. I have not touched it, have not swept up anything. It's right against the entertainment center, and the glass is kind of like a see-through vase thing. It's like steel, but anyway, yeah, getting ready to do this birthday thing, but I'm freaked all the way out. I don't even believe in this stuff. There was the one time the 2 kids played with the Ouija board, and I was going to tell this one, and we were down in the house. The dog was barking at the corner. We turned the lights on. And there was nothing in the corner. The top of the door started shaking, And we're like, whoa. We go upstairs, open the door, and there's a little tiny cat, and it went, meow. And all the doors in the house are locked. We couldn't explain that. And it was the two boys who played the Ouija board. I got out of there. Nope. Where's Spence? Gone. No. Nah. You do Candyman. I know that's some fake movie stuff. You say Candyman. I about got an issue with Casey saying Bloody Mary or Candyman or any of that stuff. No, I don't do that. No. It's kind of like, whenever I had something hurt, I just ignore it and hope it goes away and hope it gets better. I ain't been to the doctor for an illness since I was 16 years old. By the time you get the medicine, you're already better. I ain't going to go see a doctor for this foot so nobody chew me out. I'm going to go see, I believe, tomorrow, if she has opening. If not, it's going to be Tuesday. But I am, for sure, 100% going to do that. Yeah, we're getting ready to go on this thing. So if you like the video, press the like button. I'm going to take a picture of that freaky deaky thing that broke, the glass pickle jar that's a gallon. Yeah. So if you like the video, press the like button. If not, I've wasted 21 minutes and 5 seconds of your life in which you'll never get back. I think she's going to have a good birthday today. And I'm going to try to be cool. She's like BTS. They look like aliens. Look up BTS. I've seen Koreans. We got this friend, my mom's friend, Sony. He owns a nail salon. He brought one of his family members one at a time over here from Korea. He saves enough money, brings another one, has them all working the salon. Good man. That's American dream at work. As a normal Korean, those BTS, they like bleach their skin like Michael Jackson or something. I'm telling you, look up BTS. It's that K-pop stuff. That's what it's come to. Back when I was her age, I was listening to Kid Rock and Eminem. Yeah, I like Kid Rock back when it was Ball with a Ball and American Badass and all that. But Eminem, and the guy who introduced me to Eminem, I got a picture of him when we were in kindergarten, right beside him. He's my first friend. They think that he might have his own mother. It's between him and his dad, and they won't cooperate with police. She was handcuffed, hands behind her back, a bag over her head, and it was like something out of like that one movie. I don't know if she had a key in her stomach or what, but didn't have any clothes on, was in the closet, some weird stuff that didn't make sense. This was my first friend in kindergarten. I'll read the story about it later on. I get tired. I start talking about all kinds of random stuff, but I apologize. He was the one who introduced me to Eminem. And there was a girl he didn't like, and we had to go to this thing called a cotillion where they teach you to dance, and it's cool because you get to touch the girls, but you got to dress like a douchebag. So you had a box step and stuff. My mom's like, "Oh, he looks so cute," and taking pictures, and I'm like, "I hate this." And he's like talking about shanking a girl there and throwing her in the bushes. They won't find her for days. I'm like, man, her parents gonna be here to pick her up at 9 o'clock. What are you talking about? But he had plans like that. Had another plan to poison this one girl with like the fluid for some type of instrument. They were in the band. I wasn't a band person, but he was wanting me to go do something to distract them, get them to chase me, and pour this stuff in their drink. I mean, this dude, and then his mom ends up. But he was the one who introduced me to Eminem. Yeah, which Eminem's awesome. That just kind of a weird thing, mind association. Because back then Eminem was talking about taking Kim out. Well, I think he took that stuff and he listened to it a little too literally, and he made that stuff his life. Oh, Lord. The guy freaks me out still to this day. Anyway, if you like it, press the like button. I'm out.